my dreams every day.
In a career spanning almost 25 years, today's guest has sold over 3 million records in the UK, appeared in several West End hit musicals, and even got married to Kylie Minogue in one of the biggest TV soap opera weddings ever. He's back with his 6th studio album. It's a big welcome to Jason Donovan.
Steph.
Hello.
Wow, how are you going?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Cool, great.
Good, that's what I like to hear.
Happy to be here with
Perfect.
you, surrounded by candles.
It's a lovely
It's a
setting,
very
isn't it?
spiritual experience. I can feel the love.
Yes, Jason, that's what I like to hear.
Good.
There's a lot of love in this room. Now, we're fast approaching the 25th anniversary of your music career, which is exciting. It's a long time in music.
Unreal, getting old.
You're not getting old. You're as young as you feel, Jason.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Did you ever expect to be making music all these years later?
I did actually, funnily enough, and maybe I'm a bit disappointed that I haven't made more music.
A lot?
But I've done okay.
Yeah.
I think this is my 6th studio record. I like to sort of point that out to people. I'm not as prolific as some, but then again, I guess my career has sort of been diverse, having done, you know, theatre and television and film and music, and you know, I'm just like an entertainment sort of package.
One-man machine.
Yeah.
That's what you are.
But nice to be in the studio. Love recording. Do you know what? I quite like making mistakes, because when you sing in a studio, it's not like when you go on stage. You have to be sort of perfect.
Yeah.
So when you go in the studio, you can actually sort of explore your craft and just let loose and sing, and I love it. It's great.
Now, Jason. So we're going to take things back to the very beginning. In your early career, you were releasing singles at the same time as being in Neighbours. You were getting over 20 million viewers in the UK in Neighbours. It even shows like the X Factor doesn't get those figures nowadays. So what was that whole crazy time like?
Well,
being
I mean,
a star and being an actor in Neighbours at the same time?
I think it's funny in the sense that, you know, I'm not saying certainly that you know, my time on Neighbours or Kylie's or you know, was unique in the sense that it launched music careers, but we certainly were at a point where I guess music really understood the power of television, and I guess shows like X Factor are a result possibly of, you know, the power of television and what it can do to sell music. Those days are gone. I mean, you know, when you had characters like Scott and Charlene, we were watched by 20 million people a day for 4 years, every day of the week. X Factor is on once a week to 10 million, 11 million people. So you can sort of understand the currency. But you know, I think for me personally, you know, music was always an option, and you know, I'm an actor who sings, I suppose. But it was a unique opportunity in Neighbours at the time to work with Stock Aitken Waterman. Kylie had obviously had her success. You know, it seemed, why not? You know, my father's always said to me as a performer that you need to be as versatile as you possibly can. And, you know, when, you know, music became an option for me in Neighbours, I just embraced it and went with them. Hey, I haven't looked back. I love a pop song. Do you know, I love pop music. I love 3.5 minutes. I loved Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up. At the time, I was like, you know, those sort of things are emotional journeys that even when you are, it puts you in a time and a place, music, that no other medium can, and that's what I fell in love with. And you can tell your own story, you can create your own sort of character. And mine was a mullet-haired Australian who couldn't dance, and you know, wore ripped jeans and followed on from Bros. I love that.
But looked very cool.
Unreal.
The girls loved it. The mullet, the ripped jeans.
Go hard.
The on-screen romance between Scott and Charlene, played by yourself and Kylie, gripped the nation. Now, do you still know all the words to your wedding theme song, Angry Anderson Suddenly?
Steph, I have to disappoint you. I just don't. It's not something that I YouTube on a regular basis. I just don't get off on it. As much as probably, most of my fans do.
Yes, they love
it was
it.
a great song, and especially for you, was a great moment. And Neighbours was a great TV series, and Kylie's great. I'm not too bad. It's all good, but I tend not to look back, and I do. What is evident is, as one moves forward and gets a little bit older, just how unique that was. That moment was. Those things don't happen very often in a lifetime, and we were in the right place at the right time, enthusiastic, there was the chemistry, and, along comes, this music moment. Again, going back to what I said, what people love about that is they remember where they were at that particular time and the characters that they fell in love with, and that's the power of, music and art can stir those emotions, and long may that live. That's great. But I don't play it regularly at the house. My wife, I think, would go nuts.
She'd say, "Get out!"
Yeah, more than that.
More than that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be in that house anymore.
No,
Jason.
and
You'd
she'd
have to go
take
to-
half. I love that. Equal opportunities.
There we go.
Yeah, the right to bear arms. Brilliant. What's next?
Now, it's fair to say that most people expected both you and Kylie to be fly-by-night stars, but you're still both selling records. You scored 4 UK #1 singles, which is incredible, and you've had a lot of hit albums. So looking back over at your career, what would you say has been your highlight?
I think, I could not ignore the first record, because that was a unique moment for me, and particularly Too Many Broken Hearts. That came after, especially for you, because that was a moment that broke me across Europe as well, and not just in England where Neighbours was a success. It broke me in countries where I wasn't known as Scott. So it was it was a great song, and it stood up on its own. My live work has carried me in good stead. I think, bearing in mind I was a pretty bad singer when I first started, and I was good at miming on Top of the Pops. I had to go into the West End and do Joseph to sort of prove myself as a talent, and I did that successfully, And so my live work has carried me in good stead. That's why I guess I'm in lots of musicals and do that sort of stuff. But in terms of career-wise, I hope, things are ahead of me, I really do. Strictly was a great moment, I worked my butt off.
And learned some new moves?
Learned some cheeky new... I learnt some very cheeky moves.
So if I see you out and about, I know to step away from the dance floor because Jason is taking over.
Cha-cha-cha, bit of American smooth.
Yes,
Couple
you
of
can teach me a
jive.
thing or two, actually.
Hey, listen,
Why not?
walk like an Egyptian.
Now we're going to talk about this 6th new album that you've got coming out very soon. But first, you want to check out one of your classics, Jason. You get to choose which classic we play right now out the following 3. So, Too Many Broken Hearts, Hang On To Your Love, or Every Day. What would you like?
It's got to be Too Many Broken Hearts.
What a tune. Let's play it right now. Here we go.